Have you ever wondered why so many people who climb out of debt end up right back where they started? Well, it's not because they're bad with money, and it's also not because they lack willpower. It's because nobody ever told them about the 5 psychological traps that are on the other side of debt freedom. So I've personally been debt-free for 6 years, and I've helped my clients break free from debt, and I've discovered that these 5 psychological traps cause most people to boomerang back into debt after they think they've made it out. So let's get started with the first psychological trap: overconfidence. There's a dangerous high that comes with becoming debt-free. The rush of accomplishment can trick you into thinking that you've mastered money completely, and that overconfidence can blind you to new risks. In behavioral psychology, this overconfidence is called the hot hand fallacy. You see, when gamblers win, they feel like they're more likely to win again, causing them to make riskier and riskier bets until they lose everything. By succeeding at becoming debt-free, you might falsely believe that you have the hot hand with all of your financial decisions. So this dangerous overconfidence can actually push you into making risky decisions that you would not have even considered before. So for example, you might open up a bunch of credit cards to do credit card churning because you saw some guy on TikTok talk about how he goes to Fiji every year for free with credit cards. So you think, okay, I'm gonna do the same thing. I just got out of debt. I got a hot hand. But then the discipline slips up and you miss a payment here and there, and then the interest starts to pile up, and before you know it, you're back where you started. Listen, humans are weak and we are very easily tempted, and credit card companies know how to exploit that. In fact, they are experts in human behavior, and they're just hoping that you're going to mess up. So they're very willing to give you enough rope to hang yourself financially. Another trap is when you feel behind with your retirement or your wealth building, and that pushes you to make unnecessarily complicated investments or high-risk investments. But investing does not have to be flashy or complicated. In fact, some of the most successful investors, like Warren Buffett, sticks to a boring, low-cost index fund or ETF that tracks the S&P 500. These are very simple and well-diversified investments. There is no need to do options trading or day trading to make fast money, because those are recipes for getting back into debt. In gambling, they say the house always wins. Think of debt as the house. If you're reckless with how you use it, it will always win in the end. The second psychological trap is frustration. Becoming debt-free feels like it should be the finish line, but actually it's just one milestone in a longer journey. When you realize you still have to work hard to reach financial independence, it can trigger frustration, because you can feel like, I did all this work and sacrifice for years and I still can't rest. This is where most people stumble, and their frustration causes them to rebel against their own progress. And what happens next is a complete pendulum swing, where you start overspending to make up for the years of sacrifice and the frustration of just not being where you thought you'd be by now. And if you're in the middle of your debt payoff journey, take this as a word of caution. Do not completely eliminate all the things that you love while you're trying to pay off debt. The risk is that you'll have a spending whiplash once you become debt-free. Financial freedom requires consistency, not perfection. So allow yourself those small but planned indulgences that'll keep you motivated without derailing your progress. Because the goal isn't simply to reach debt freedom, it's to stay there comfortably for life. The third psychological trap is burnout. Let's just be real. Paying off debt is exhausting. And there's this strange moment after you've become debt-free that no one really talks about, and it's the letdown. Because you've climbed this mountain and you finally reached the top, only to find out that there's another mountain. And that mountain is financial freedom. And so you finally pay off all of your debt, and you want to just take a breather, relax, and stop being so strict with your spending. And that's normal. That's actually even healthy. But the problem comes in when we get too relaxed and we lose our focus. And here's something I've learned from experience. If you lose financial momentum, the energy it requires to get it back is much more than the energy it required to just keep it. That is why so many people cycle back into debt after becoming debt-free, because they lose those habits and financial awareness that got them to be debt-free in the first place. Now that you've become debt-free, you should be budgeting, but with a shifting focus on saving and investing and building wealth. So now you have a new motivator. Because when you budget to pay off debt, it's necessary, but it's also frustrating because you feel like you're losing all of that money you could have kept. But when you budget for financial freedom, it's actually exciting because you know that every dollar that you save or invest is going to your future. So don't get lazy with your finances. Continue to live below your means and stay intentional about where your money is going. Because the discipline that you've developed isn't simply a financial tool, it is the foundation of your financial future. The fourth psychological trap is the fear of missing out. I know so many people that once they got out of debt, they felt like they were so behind on investing that they decided to pour all of their money into investing and neglect building up an emergency fund. Basically, this is FOMO, and that is a very dangerous mindset because there's a reason that financial advisors say to have an emergency fund before aggressively investing, because you need that buffer. Emergency funds buffer you from debt, and it is the foundation of financial progress. And without this buffer, you are just one unexpected expense away from undoing all of your progress. So we know that you need an emergency fund. Now the real question becomes, do you quickly build it up to get it out of the way, or do you try to do it along with investing? And I believe the answer lies in running the numbers and seeing what makes the most sense for your situation. So the first thing you want to do is calculate your emergency fund. And experts recommend that it be between 3 to 6 months of your living expenses. So let's just say that your 3-month emergency fund is $12,000. Next, I want you to determine how much a month you can put towards building your emergency fund. And let's say now that you're out of debt, you can put $1,000 a month to build your emergency fund or to invest. So option one is you can take that $1,000 and put it towards your emergency fund every single month, and within a year you will have your fully funded emergency fund. And then after that 12 months, you can redirect that $1,000 straight to your investments. And option two is you do them both at the same time. So instead of doing $1,000 to your emergency fund, you'll do $500, and then $500 will go to your investments. So it'll take you 2 years to be fully funded with your emergency fund, but at least you will have begun to invest as well. And then in 2 years, once you have a fully funded emergency fund, that entire $1,000 can go to your investments. The right answer for you depends on your risk tolerance, your job security, and the peace that you feel by having a fully funded emergency fund. I personally use the balanced approach where I prioritize my emergency fund, but I didn't totally neglect my investing. Psychological trap number 5. Aimlessness. Reaching debt freedom is incredibly exciting, but it can also feel surprisingly anticlimactic. Like you've worked so hard to reach this goal, and once you do, you find yourself asking, what's next? You almost feel aimless, as if you've lost your direction. And that is why I encourage all of my clients to set what I call an irresistible goal. An irresistible goal is a core desire or life goal that you want more than anything. It is something that you think about at night, and it fuels your hopes and your dreams for the future. This goal is what keeps you motivated to transition from debt freedom to true financial freedom. And I lay out my exact step-by-step plan for how I've paid off $70,000 worth of debt and am becoming a future millionaire in this video. So watch that one next, and I'll see you there.